DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, work on your game. Dre Baldwin, work on your game, university.com. Topic of this video is doing your best. Doing your best. And everybody's heard of this phrase, doing your best. And some of us even use this phrase, hey, I'm doing the best that I can do, or I did my best. We usually say that when something that we have worked on or tried simply did not work, right? Isn't that what we say? If someone is failing at something, you're like, yo, what the hell are you doing? They'll say, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm trying the hardest that I can. I'm fighting the hardest I can. I gave everything I could. I tried everything I possibly could. All of you have heard this phrase before. I heard Tony Robbins saying this once, that he was giving an example, like a person he's talking to says, well, I've tried everything to make my business work. And he says, you tried everything? All right, name 1,000 things you tried. Or they'll say millions. He says, millions? All right, name 1,000. And they say, well, I've tried lots of things. All right, name 10. And then eventually they come to the point where I keep doing these two things that don't work. And they just keep doing them over and over again. And all of it encompasses the same idea when I say doing your best. So if someone says they did their best, or they tried everything, or they're trying everything, or they're working as hard as they possibly can. Many of you have used these phrases before, and if you haven't said them verbally, you have thought them mentally. And I am here to challenge you on the concept that that's bullshit and it's not true. If you don't have the outcome you want, then it's not true. And here's the reason why. You have the skill, you have the knowledge, you have the intellect, you have the ability. I don't even know you, but I can make this assumption because I've talked to a lot of people, thousands of people over the years in my lines of work, from athletes to entrepreneurs to corporate and government professionals to academics to students and retirees and everybody in between. Most of the people I meet, very few of them have a lacking of intellectual capacity. None of you is mentally handicapped in any way. I can't say the R word because I used the R word once on TikTok and they kicked me off for 3 days. So y'all know what I mean. All of you have the mental capacity. Now, some people have a little bit more than others. Some people have knowledge, specific knowledge in some areas, while others have knowledge in other areas. But generally, none of you is dumb. None of you has the inability to learn or think or process, right? Physically, most of the people who I've talked to have your abilities to do things. And if you're not trying to play a sport, then it ain't too much physical capabilities that you must have in order to be successful. Not like you got to have a 40-inch vertical or be able to run a 40-yard dash in under 5 seconds. None of those things have any bearing on your ability to be successful in your chosen endeavor. Therefore, if you don't have the outcome or outcomes you want in a certain aspect of your life, do not lie to yourself and say that you are trying your hardest, you've done your best, you've tried everything, you're working as hard as you can. That's bullshit. It's not true. And I tell myself these same things because if it was true, just think about this. If it was true that you were doing everything you could, you're trying your hardest, you've given everything you got, you tried everything, and you're working as hard as possible. If that's true and you still don't have your outcome, then that means it's impossible for you to get the outcome. Is that what it means? Either it means it's impossible for you to get the outcome, or that something or someone other than you must intervene and do something for you that you are incapable of doing for yourself. Now, the caveat to that is, yes, you can use resources and tools and other people to help you get a job done. But I mean this, I want you to get the spirit of my point. Don't judge it by the letter of the point. Don't dissect it by the letter. Yes, you can use other people. Like I have people who work for me, work with me, do stuff for me. I outsource things. I don't mean it in that way. What I mean is, if you give your best effort, try everything you possibly could try, work as hard as you possibly can, and exhaust every possible resource, opportunity, and idea, there is no way that you won't get the things that you want in life. That's what I mean here when I say, when I talk about this concept of trying your best. If you do all of those things, it is impossible for you to not get what you want. The only thing that becomes a question at that point is how it's going to, not even how it's going to, yeah, we can say how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen, but there's no question as to if it's going to happen. Do you understand this? It's the same when it comes to making a decision. See, when you make a decision, and this all fits together, when you make a decision, which means you're cutting off every other possibility that you're going to succeed in whatever area, then the only question now is how it's going to come about and when it's going to come about. But there's no question as to whether or not if it's going to happen, because by deciding that it's going to happen, you already cut off the possibilities of it not happening. So there is no if. It's just a matter of how and when. If, again, now here's where I'm giving an if you are actually trying your best, working your hardest, doing everything you can, and basically pulling out all the stops when it comes to achieving at your highest possible level. So here's the question that you need to be asking yourself, and you should ask yourself this question right now today. And you want to plant this question in your mind. Just keep reminding yourself of this question over and over and over again as you go through your day to day and just your life, period. Am I actually trying my best, working my hardest, doing everything that I can, exhausting every opportunity to create the success that I want? Am I actually doing that, or am I just telling myself that I'm doing that? If you just start asking yourself that question on a consistent basis, what's going to happen is you're going to start catching yourself in your own bullshit, which is a very important thing to do. It's a very important habit to develop and a very important skill to have. Why? Because human beings are very susceptible to deception, and the easiest person to deceive is the person in the mirror. We deceive ourselves all the time by telling ourselves that we're doing things as best we can when we're actually not doing it. And then we let ourselves off the hook. Well, I'm doing everything that I can, but I still don't have success. So, guess that means I'm not supposed to be successful. Bullshit. You are telling yourself a lie, and you are accepting the lie. If another person told you that lie, you wouldn't accept it. You would say, well, wait a minute. You said you did everything. Or you did these 3 things. What about this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing? You haven't tried these, so you haven't done everything. You would say that to another person very easily because you would easily diagnose it. But you won't say it to yourself. And that's what I am submitting to you and urging you to start doing, is catching yourself in the lies and catching yourself when you tell yourself some bullshit. Because again, you are the easiest person to deceive because you want to believe yourself. So you don't have a strong need to believe anyone else as much as you have a need to believe yourself. Yeah, you want to believe your friends and your family and your loved ones and your spouse and your kids and your parents. But you don't need to believe them nearly as much as you need to believe you. Because if you know that you're bullshitting yourself and lying to yourself, it'd be hard for you to go to sleep because your whole existence will become a lie. Now, another person lies to you and they're bullshitting, well, so what? That's them. You don't control them. You don't have to go to bed with them. You don't have to live in their head, but you got to live in your head. And that's why you're the easiest person to deceive. And that's why I'm giving you a tool here to catch yourself in your own bullshit so you don't lie to yourself about what you're actually doing and about what's actually happening and why it's happening. So just ask yourself the question consistently over the course of a day. Just plant this question in your head. Am I trying my best? Am I doing my best? Am I working my hardest? Am I doing everything I could possibly do to make this thing work right now? And every time you ask yourself that question, you may often realize that the answer is no, and that's a good thing. Why is that a good thing? Because that means that there is potential that is yet untapped within you and in your circumstances. That means that the potential for you to actually achieve your goal is still there. You just haven't tapped into it yet. The good news is, as I said at the beginning of this video, none of you is incapable. You're not mentally incapable. You are not physically incapable. You are not opportunely, if that's even a word, probably not, but I made it up. You're not opportunely incapable. In other words, the opportunity is not hidden from you and you are not blocked from accessing it. You simply are not calling all your resources the way that you have conditioned yourself to believe that you are. And I'm just helping you point out that you're not, which means you can do something about it. That's the good news. All that said, folks, Work on Your Game University. You would like to work with me directly. You would like to have me work with you. You would like me to be your direct coach and help you with your mindset, your strategies, your systems, and make sure you are held accountable to implement at the level that will get you to where you actually want to be, rather than just telling yourself that you're trying. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description to this video. Work on your game. Dre all day.